Hi, and welcome to another episode of Real News. I'm Abbey Higginbotham, still reporting here from the comfort of quarantine, and we're here to bring you the news from around campus and Kansas City every Tuesday. For now, as always, we start today's show discussing the coronavirus. Due to this pandemic, universities across the country have been scrambling to help students out in any way they can. UMKC's SGA and other sources have recently allocated $20,000 into the emergency funds. Henry Gamber has more on this.
Thank you for joining us, Emma. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. So can you talk a little bit about the donation that SGA put in for the Student Emergency Fund?
Yeah, so the way that worked is we had a bunch of SAFC funds left over because obviously student organizations aren't holding the events they were planning on and they can't travel. So that left us with an excess of funds that we weren't really sure what to do with. And since they were still student funds, we wanted to do something that would help students with that money. So when I saw the Student Emergency Relief Fund advertising and going around, I thought that would be a great way to repurpose that. So we reached out to those in charge to learn more about it and how our funds could be used, and then eventually voted on and made the donation.
And how much was donated?
It's about $25,000, split between the Emergency Relief Fund and Rue Pantry.
Okay. And what is that money going to go into with the Student Emergency Fund? What does that fund do?
So the fund provides microgrants for students that can be used for a variety of things, whether that's to help pay rent, to help buy food. Since we've moved everything online, it's important for students to have reliable internet and technology, so it can be used for that, to help pay student loans, like anything that the students could need. Can be covered by that. Once you apply, you just explain how your financial situation was impacted by COVID-19, and they kind of take it by case basis.
Okay. Good afternoon, Aubrey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So could you describe how your company is helping the Student Emergency Fund?
Definitely. So Aubrey's Attic Co. is selling a profit share tee. I have one right here. I can show you all. This t-shirt right here. So my company is selling these. We're promoting them through all of our social media channels and ads, and all the profits from them are going directly to the relief fund.
All right. Do you know how much money you've raised so far?
Each shirt, $14 from it goes to the fund, and we've sold over 20 shirts.
Okay. What inspired you to start this, to make a shirt for this?
I have done profit share t-shirts before, and I knew right now I definitely wanted to do something to help my direct community. I've seen a lot of people that have influence step up, and a lot of it is, in their own groups of people. So I looked online, and my mom looked online. We were trying to find what we could do to help students. And we just happened across the fund, not even because I go to school there, just because it was on Google. And I realized that not a lot of people knew it was available. And so I decided I wanted to put money into the fund and help get more students grants. But I also wanted to let people know that it was an option to get money from there, because I felt like most people that I knew that needed the money were unaware of it.
Okay. So where can students go to find out more about the shirts, or if they want to get one, where can they go?
Yeah, definitely. They can go to aubreysatticco.com, and you just search profit share tee or pre-order, and you'll see it on my website. And it's $34. You can click it if you aren't wanting to purchase the tee but just want more information. I have a whole product description on that page, and you can see a link to the application, and you can also see a link to where to donate directly.
Okay. And that should be pretty good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
UMKC has officially started the process of finalizing plans for fall semester. The university is hopeful that students will be back on campus for the 2020 fall semester, but are prepared to continue online classes if need be. Chancellor Agrawal has said that the post-COVID-19 environment for higher education will be very different from what we're used to. Whether coursework is online or in person, UMKC plans to continue to provide higher education and keeping students safe. Tech companies across the globe have been racing to create tracking software that could show you if you have been in contact with someone who has the virus or have had the virus. Henry Gamber talked to a UMKC alum who's working on an app that does just that. We go to Henry with more.
Hi, this is Henry Gamber with Rue News, and I'm here with Riddiman Das to discuss the development of his new app, Privacy Kit, in the wake of coronavirus. Hello, and thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me.
Privacy has been a huge concern among a lot of people, as there have been talks about tracing and other various privacy concerns. Triple Blind is developing an app called Privacy Kit that has garnered a lot of recognition. Could you go into what Privacy Kit do?
Sure. So Private Kit is a contact tracing application. What that means is it enables individuals to determine if they have come into contact with someone that potentially has COVID-19 or might develop COVID-19 symptoms in the future. It does so in a completely privacy-preserving way. What that means is that it does not enable the authorities that may be to develop a surveillance tool on the heels of this. And we felt like it is really important to enforce these kinds of privacy constraints so that it doesn't lead to individuals not using or resisting the use of these tech tools just because it is violating privacy. So we've done this in a completely open source effort led by Triple Blind with the participation of MIT, the Mayo Clinic, as well as Harvard Business School.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for the work you're doing to Okay.
Sorry, you cut out the last 30 seconds, but yes, thank you for having me.
Oh, I apologize.
With the end of the year approaching, that means current SGA President Justice Horne's term is coming to a close. I sat down with him to reflect back on his time as president and much more. So, Justice, how are you doing?
Good, I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing great. What were you expecting with the race being so tight? Were you expecting this outcome?
So I don't think anyone was expecting the outcome on our side of things. I think what really surprised me was the low voter turnout. I mean, I know that we were in a weird transition period at the time and school was being canceled. I personally felt that because there were a lot of students that were online that we would have a high voter turnout. But I mean, students aren't really paying attention to the election, and that was really a shame. And I think everyone ran a good race, and we have the outcome we do now.
For you personally, what do you think the greatest change was that you helped make in SGA?
I think the greatest change we made is, I'll kind of say two things. I think one, establishing an SGA that not only worked for students and advocated for them and pushed for actual policy change. I think given the students in SGA that a Division I university in Kansas City should deserve, I think that's what we accomplished. But then also instilling in students that there is hope. I think a big part of my year was having students hope in their SGA, their elected representatives, or even the trajectory of the university. I know no one thought, for example, we could change counseling services, or we could change how the libraries ran, or we could even, for example, get the Chiefs Day parade canceled. It's like you instill a lot of hope in students, and that things could change. Things aren't always as they seem, and that's something I really want to stress. Not only my presidency, but also SGA moving forward, that just because things are the way they are doesn't mean that they always have to stay that way.
So, Justice, going forward, do you think SGA is in good hands now?
Well, I absolutely think SGA is in good hands, and I think that there's a lot of returning students that are going to be in SGA, and even with the new executive branch, I mean, that's only 1/3 of SGA. I think what we've set up, and I am happy that we did, is that the future and the trajectory of SGA did not depend just on who was at the executive branch and who was leading that. I think we have a strong judicial branch and an even stronger Senate. I think that there are things in place where it's the same as we get a new president on the federal level, but the system itself and the federal government doesn't always change. It's only one person. So I think the longevity of SGA is absolutely going to move forward, and it's really going to be the Senate. It's going to be the Senate really bringing up bills, pushing policy, and it's going to be the next president also looking at the student body, seeing what their needs are. So in the long run of SGA, I think this last election and even this last year has brought more people that want to get involved with SGA. I think we're in really good hands, and that the future SGA. I mean, it's 71 people. I mean, one new president isn't going to change anything.
Absolutely. And now I actually have one more final question for you, and it's what's been your favorite memory as serving as SGA president?
I don't want to sound cliche, but I just think every bit of it. I mean, I know these last couple of days I've been reflecting on. I mean, we've had some crazy days, some good days, and some days where we've had to clean up some disasters or scandals, but that's what it's about. I mean, you love to fight. I mean, we're doing a lot of good work, and even on the bad days where there are days that there are hours unseen and days where I'm not getting a lot of sleep, I mean, those good days balance that out. So I think we did a lot of good work and a lot of policy changes I'm very proud of. And just, I mean, inspiring a generation after me, inspiring freshmen that want to get involved with SGA, and even those that are running for the Senate that say, hey, I could be a senator and I could get involved with SGA. I think the point of my time as president wasn't leaving something for people; it was leaving something in people. So I think that's why we do it, and I think we did absolutely that.
All right. Well, Justice, thank you so much for sitting down with us and talking, and we hope to hear much more from you.
All right. Thank you very much.
That's all we have for you this week. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you stay safe, and we'll see you next Tuesday, Ruse.